Hello, everybody loves Raymond. Let's turn this down maybe a hair. This is recording, going live, and let's go back over to here, and then that should go live. Yes. All right. Let's move this mic, shall we? Oh, I see. The canister. The canister is in the way. Hello, everybody. Tom Caltabiano here, Everose Raymond, ELR 360 Live, talking all things Everose Raymond. How are we sounding? Does that look hot? Does that look hot? When I say hot, I mean, is the mic too loud? Welcome, everybody. Okay, let's see. Hi, Ryan. I'm going to put you up. Yes. Funny, Ryan. I'm not even going to read it because people can read it. Although, now that I think about it, a lot of people are listening to this at another time and maybe don't read it. Hello from Racine, or do you say Racine, Wisconsin, where it's colder than Deborah Stare after Raymond screws something up. Yes, very funny. Hi, Mona. Wow. You know, I feel bad. It seems to be freezing in a lot of places, and it is very cold here. It is only 63 degrees Fahrenheit. So really Arctic type conditions here. Hello, Anne Marie. Hi, everybody. Wow, a lot of snow. Hi, Fly Lady. Are you up in I forget, are you in Delaware? Am I making that up? Or are you where are you? I think it's Delaware. It's so hard to keep track. We have so many fans. All right. Welcome. Those of you who are new, I am Tom Caltabiano. I was a writer on Everose Raymond. I took photographs of the show behind the scenes, and you guys are benefiting because I am slowly scanning all the original negatives, which are, let me see, just out of reach here. Yes, all of the negatives, all of these proof sheets. You guys are getting an education. Yes, Patty's Christmas party. Yes, oh, there I am with Patty. Yes. And all of these proof sheets slowly. And the advantage of film is it's pretty bulletproof, unless there's a giant fire, in which case you would lose everything. Sorry for the reflections, everybody. But today I scanned some photos from No Roll. And so I'm going to be talking about that episode, sharing some of that episode. We've talked about it in the past, but we have so many new followers that it's going to be new to you. And I think for our upcoming podcast, we're going to have to follow a normal type of show analysis, which is go through the seasons and analyze the shows, besides my weekly joining you guys here. So welcome, everybody. Let's get some hellos out of the way. Hi, Mona. Yes, talking about, yes, the No Roll, Mona's saying. Today looks very interesting. The way you're going to tell us, I'm going to pop in from time to time. I love the little tidbits that people add, which is always interesting because we seem to have a great personal connection that we've had over the many, many years. And one of the reasons for doing this show, is to talk about Everybody Loves Raymond and keeping it alive, because very much all the people and all the 130 people in the show production have remained friends. And so it's nice to continue the friendship around the world and give you some insight into episodes. Hello from, yes, Southeast Kansas. Hi, Sandy. Southeast Kansas. Are you on the Missouri border? And so for those of you who are following along, the fires in Los Angeles, clearly, since that's a big news item, and I've mentioned in the past, Phil Rosenthal was very much, and Raymond as well, that they didn't want to talk current events on the show, so that when you're watching in 3 years, the thing that is top of mind now may go away, unless it's such a big cataclysmic event, which these fires are. So for us in Los Angeles, I think I heard today one of the fires is 50% contained. That's called the Eden Fire, for those of you following along. And the other is, the big one is the Palisades Fire, which is not as contained. But the big thing is there's not a lot of wind now. So it's not the hurricane force winds that were making it impossible to fly, impossible to put out the fire with an airdrop. And the terrain, if you guys have watched, yes, you see the houses, the beautiful houses that are all wiped out. And I think I know 5 people who lost their homes. That a lot of the fires are, and this, if you watch the opening of MASH, where the helicopters are flying and you see they're in Korea and the hills, etc., that's all shot in California, close to where the Palisades fire happened. So that's steep terrain. It's not a matter of can the firemen, if they could just get there. It's almost impassable to get to those some of those areas without airdrops. So that's what you've seen is the wind died down and the airdrops have taken effect and been able to keep the fires at bay. But we do have a high wind warning coming up tomorrow. So again, I appreciate all of your concern. Nobody. Some people on the Raymond Show, 3 people who worked on the Raymond Show lost their homes. And so it is very close. None of the main cast. Okay, here we go. Polar vortex for you and yes. So I understand all of my friends on the East Coast are getting hammered by the snow. And just so you know, for those of you in the UK also, it is big football in Australia also. The not your football, but American football. So this is a playoff weekend. So the Los Angeles. So when you're not involved, it's very boring. And I think you guys do know that the Super Bowl is still the one way for advertisers to reach millions and millions of people at one time. And it's like the only thing. So it used to be whenever Raymond was on the air, you had 3 main networks, and the reason Raymond was able to earn so much money and the show made so much money, the reason that was is because they could sell advertising. And since then, since Raymond went off the air, the markets have gone all different ways, including obviously to different alternatives like TikTok and YouTube, etc. So football is incredibly important, not just to fans, but to the moneymaker. So the Super Bowl promo of Everybody Loves Raymond was a gigantic exposure for the show. And we'll be talking about that as we get further closer. And I think the Super Bowl here is February 9th. And so, again, today, the Rams are playing, that's Los Angeles, are playing against Philadelphia Eagles. And yesterday, the Detroit Lions lost to the Washington Commanders, as they are now known in our politically correct environment. They used to be called the Washington Redskins. And they're both sad stories in that Washington hadn't been in the playoffs since 1991. And Detroit has never won a Super Bowl. And so you're kind of rooting, if you're neutral, you're rooting for both teams. So there you go. Now you're caught up for those of you that don't follow along with American football. And for those of you that could care less, I apologize to you. All right, let me have a sip of coffee after seeing the weather from Fly Lady. What am I drinking today? Oh, actually, this is a new tea. I'm drinking Harney & Sons Irish Breakfast Tea for those of you following along, and we will be tasting something today. We almost have our rating system completed so that we can put that over there, so we can make that. A lot of you voted for, almost all of you voted for blue, but a lot of people were very adamant that red, the red number for the rating. So once I have that rating up, then I can start doing it. We just post little clips, etc. Okay, Mona, yes. Sorry, I'm just racing through some of the comments. Okay, so I don't know what that means. Something about a cowlick. I assume that's me. Okay, so let's get into the reason I'm hesitating is I did not check in with Instagram. So let's look over here. Let's see what happens if we pull Instagram up here and look at a couple of comments. Hello. Yes. Hello. Hi, everyone. Yes. Hi, Leo. Okay. An update on the fires. Okay. I just did. And so for those of you that know, um, sorry, for those of you that know Los Angeles, the other thing was during the fires, it was really windy and really dry. And so now there's a little bit of more moisture in the air. So as I look out this window, there's a lot of it's moisture in the air, for lack of a better, and it's not fog, but before, and I posted some of those pictures before. It was incredibly clear. It was crystal clear because the wind was blowing. So it was this weird contrast between incredibly smoky skies in one area and then crystal blue if you turned 180 degrees. All right. So no roll. And a couple of things I posted about it. And I think let me see, the autocorrect is the bane of my existence. So something is cracked here. So let's look at this. Okay, let me look at these photos. Okay, so some of these were scanned just recently. So this one, for those of you following along, that is me in the audience. Come on, camera. Yes, trying to focus. There we go. So these, you can look at them. I posted them. I'm in the audience talking to the audience during the filming of No Roll. And there is Phil. I guess when Phil would walk by, when he wasn't too busy, there he is having a quick snack out of a little paper bowl from back there. And then we see Steve, who looks like Fonzie, right? Even from behind, who visited us. And there I am. That's a script, a show script. And there I am talking to the audience. And there we go. That is the complete photo of filming during No Roll, me talking to the audience. And Steve is carrying film canisters there. So our show was shot on film. It has a very filmic look because it is filmed on film. One of the few shows, maybe one of the last shows that did it. And here we go. Here I am in the audience, talking to the audience, much as I do now. There we go. I don't know what I said, but probably making fun of something on the screen. And there is Patty and Raymond. Patty in her pajamas. And I think I have some really cool shots in the makeup room of her, which I have shared, I think. And there, the perfect moment, your parents, Raymond's parents, finding the Sensuopoly game, perfect invasion, no boundaries, etc. Okay, so a couple of things that I stated. Let me catch up here. Sorry. Yes, that's exactly right. So, No Roll was written by Aaron Shore, and when we have Aaron Shore on again, we can go again deeply into that episode. I believe he was reading a book called something like The Great American Sex Diet or something. And it was this thing where you had to have sex with your spouse so many times, and it became work, kind of a chore for him. And I believe that was the launching point for this game episode, Sensuopoly. Now, the reason, here's something that you may not know. How would you possibly know this? In the writer's room, and let me see if I have that photo. I'll search my 500,000 photos. In the writer's room, there would be gambling going on. Not legal gambling, illegal gambling, they call it. And so it was a game of dice. And recently, all the writers on the text chain that we are on, since they invented text chains, Raymond was asking, what were the rules of the game we played? And nobody could remember the exact rules, but what they did remember is that when you rolled the dice, and I don't gamble, not because I'm super self-controlled. Gambling bores me to no end. And so I could go in, and I have with Raymond, and sat there with a pocket full of quarters, and I leave with a pocket full of quarters. It just bores me to no end, just like I'm sure anybody else who's like, I don't like opera or I do like opera, etc. So I don't judge, but I don't gamble. And so I'm not astute at any of the games of chance. So the game, though, had dice. And you would roll the dice on the writer's room table. And if one of the dice fell off the table, everybody would yell, no roll, because your roll was disqualified. I don't know where that came. I don't know. Is that a roulette wheel thing? Is that I won't embarrass myself by trying to guess games. But that existed for the longest time. No roll in the writer's room. And I think whoever invented it, it was played until the end of the series. And so that became the name of this episode. No roll. Okay? No roll. And let me just search something on my computer. Let's see. Do I want to do taxes? No. Let me just see if I can find. So on my computer, everybody, I have every single script of every episode of Raymond. And so, okay, here we go. Well, look at that. Look at that. Let's see if I can open that. Third revision. Let's see where the shooting script is. Okay, let's try and open that shooting script and see what happens. Okay, it's going to change formats. Wow, this is exciting. I've never done this before. Opened up a script live. So this is the shooting script. And when was the shooting script? Let's just go plus here. Wow, this is a really old format of the script. Okay, let me do this, and then I shoot this. Wow, I love doing this live. Okay, so, oh, yes, no roll. Okay, so now let me find my way back to our live broadcast. There we go. So that was the origin of no roll. The name No Roll. So there you go. You guys, you could win that in a bar bet, I guess. But how would anybody check it out? Is it online? Now it is, but it's not a checkable fact. That is really inside baseball, as we say here. All right, let's go. So that's a 1 point of trivia about No Roll. Now, No Roll was filmed on this date, 8/22/01. August 22nd, 01. And if you guys who have been following along, by the way, Tom Caltabiano here, writer on Neighborhoods Raymond, for those of you who have just joined, I am talking about the No Roll episode, which is the Sensuopoly episode, where Patty Deborah is in her pajamas and they're trying to figure a couple things out. So there we go. The No Roll episode. That one will be familiar to you. So, August 22nd, 2001. And for those of you that have been following along, you know that it takes about 4 weeks from the time you shoot an episode. So it takes 5 days to shoot an episode. It's all done on show night. It takes 3 hours to film it, 4 hours to film it. The film gets raced to get developed, and then it gets what's known as digitized. It got what's known as digitized. And then after digitization, they would start the editing process, which really took about 40 hours, 1 full week. The director would have their cut. The editor would have her cut. And in our case, 99% of our show was edited by the aptly named Pat the editor. And then Phil and Ray would look at it and give a lot of notes or little notes or whatever it was. That was the workflow. So it would go steps. And then once they were like, okay, we're signed off. And when I say a lot of notes, it would be, and someday we'll go through the editing process, which is, I love the editing process when I'm working on a project, but it is excruciating for some people to watch because you're watching the same scene over and over again. Like, okay, cut a few frames off of the end of that shot and get off of Frank sooner and go to Marie earlier. So we're doing that. It's this little iterative process. And the audience would be able to see the rough cut of that. And we would be going, oh, it's so much better now. even 3 days later because the music's in and the color correction and all that stuff. And I believe I've told the story real quickly. Ray and I were down in San Diego, and my friend lives in San Diego, and we had a rough cut tape sent to us that we had to watch. And so we sat in the living room and we watched it, and I could tell my friend was like, wow, this is a really bad episode of Everybody Loves Raymond. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but I will in the future. And what he was watching is the rough cut, where the sound isn't mixed, the color isn't right, and sound is a big portion that people don't really realize. You cannot have. You can sit through a movie with a bad image. You cannot sit through a movie with bad sound. And so all of that stuff was going into his head. Ray and I were kind of discounting it and just looking at the cut. And as much as you tell people, listen, you're going to be affected by that, and they go, no, I will not be affected by it. You are affected by it. So, No Roll gets filmed August 22nd. 9/11 happens, if you guys remember the date, 9/11. So now, in the middle of editing No Roll, and some of you have pointed out, and we've discussed it a little bit, Raymond says, kiss your husband as if you're going to climb Mount Everest, or I forget whose move it is, if it's Deborah's or Ray's. And so I believe the network said, hey, the original line says, kiss your partner as if they're going off to war. Actually, I can look at this. This is live at the best. Okay, Tupperware. Okay, the original line is, sorry, can I make this even larger? Let's see, view, Zoom. Wow, why isn't the Zoom working? Okay, Zoom doesn't work. That's interesting. Here's the original line, folks. And I will, let me do this where I'm looking around for, I have so much stuff. Oh, here we go. So the original line says, everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is Deborah. Kiss your lover as though they're about to go off to war. Okay. Deborah gives Ray a passionate kiss. She stops. Ray lunges for her. Ray, stop. It's your turn. Okay. So that, everybody, was the original line. So the original line, funny, seems like a universal thing. Your lover is going off to war. They may not return. Nothing, unfortunately, new or a novel about that. I believe war has been going on for a long time and will continue for a long time. But the network executives thought, okay, kiss your lover as if he's going off to war, as if they're going off to war. And so they said, listen, 9/11 is a big event. It seems maybe tasteless and too of the moment to say that. And so they decided, what else can you do that's dangerous that your lover might not come back from? So I'm just curious. Give me some heart. Let me look here. I don't know that I don't think I'm seeing hearts here. If you hear the war one or the Mount Everest one, because I'm not sure what airs where. On Apple TV, it airs as Everest, and they did something called ADR. The decision was made, okay, make it Everest, go in, record the lines, and of course there's a callback, as you call it in the business, where Ray goes, I'm back from Everest, I'm back from war, is what it should or was. And so they went in, they recorded that, they put it in the actors' mouths. It's called ADR, and some people say it's called automatic dialogue replacement, but there's some debate about that. But they recorded it. Most of you do not know. Some of you would know. It's a decision that had to be made at the time. I don't disagree with it, but I think it would have gone quickly. And now it seems it still works, but it seems war is a little bit funnier than it was. War is a little bit funnier than Everest, if you're debating funnier. Okay, so There you go. Now you guys have heard the inside story of that, the 9/11 effect on the editing process. All the dates line up. Shot August 22nd, and I think, and I don't want to get too deep into that arena, but I think it was either Ray's Ring or No Roll that we filmed before going to New York City. The cast flew in September 10th, and we, the writers, we had tickets for September 12th. So yeah, it was very close to us. Okay, now let me scroll back. Tom Caltabiano here talking about all things Everybody Loves Raymond. Every single Sunday for the past 5 years. For those of you that don't have a clue who I am, I was a writer on Everybody Loves Raymond. I was friends with Ray from doing stand-up before. I am friends with Phil and Ray and everybody now. And let's see. Let's go back and catch up. Yes, I think it's a. Let me see. It was a good decision to change it, I think. Because, again, for those of you that are too young to remember, it was such a cataclysmic event that it was on everyone's mind. And so it just felt, it felt like change it. And next time Phil and Ray are on, I'd be curious what they think regarding that decision. Okay, I'm looking up at my other screen at all of the comments on Instagram. Yes, I'm seeing you guys. So yes. Now, had it aired after, what do I say? There was a little window where you could do that ADR, and you could make that change. So that came right now. And what are the odds of having a war reference in there? Hi, Bob. Aloha from Hawaii. Jerry Zaks directed No Roll. Yes, I believe I have just found. And for those of you, when I say I just scanned, that means they were in the negative form, and they're new photos, because as a guy who took 30,000 behind-the-scene photos, only about 2,000 have been scanned so far. And the fires, sorry, this is upside down. Let's see how that looks. Or is that now upside down? Yes, that is now upside down. I don't even know what this episode is that I'm holding up, but sorry. Folks, I would call this a frustrating exercise in the use of reflections to annoy your audience. Yes. So yes, you are correct. Jerry Zaks, who was a very well-known Broadway director, directed many episodes of Raymond. And yes, he did. I just had some really good shots of him, but I don't think I shared it because a lot of people get bored by that. Okay, now, why did Ray's wife get jealous in this episode? Raymond has been in bed and kissed Deborah many, 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 many times, but she told me there was one time that she got really jealous. And this was the moment. And the moment was not the kissing and the throwing Deborah down, because let's face it, a lot of women would get very upset if their husband was kissing a beautiful woman and throwing her down onto a bed. But Anna, no, not so much. And at this point, what are we? Season 6, 2001? It's always hard for me to do the math. Season 4? I can't keep track. The thing that got to her, which surprised me, is there's a portion in the game, which therefore was in the show, where you look into your lover's eyes for 3 minutes. And we'll have Anna back on again. Anna said, I don't know why, but that just seemed too intimate. So it's very interesting from a human psychology standpoint. Why not the kissing? And I guess, so now this is the comedy writer coming out, where you hear that fact from a psychiatrist, and then you tell your wife, at least I didn't look her in the eye. I only kissed her. Good luck with that. Go out there, run with that, and see how it goes. Annabelle. I don't know why I'm shouting, Annabelle. Let me take it down. Let me take a drink. Let me take a little drink from our AIS mug of some Irish tea. Here we go. Probably, I'm going to say the most useful phrase from any TV show. What else? You guys can post what else you think is a useful phrase from another show. Okay, let me put that there. So that doesn't, oh, I see. That has to go there. And that goes there. Okay. Annabelle, back to you. Annabelle, I never liked gambling, but my friend did. Oh, that's interesting. But my friend did. I was so bored one time. Well, I hope this is good, Annabelle, because I'm committed to it. One time, while she was playing slots, I put some quarters and won $750. Then it was hard to not want to try again. I used the money to fund my trip to California to see the filming of ELR. Won another $500 at a casino near Palm Springs. Okay, I'm going to send you some money, Annabelle. Maybe you can double that. Yes, that is a good story. That is a good gambling story, because a lot of gambling stories ends up with, and I lost my house. Okay, so staring into the eyes. Now, this will be a very good question, because for those of you who aren't in show business, which is 99% of you, a common question is for Patty, did your husband get jealous of Ray? And when you ask that, it's so weird. For an actor or an actress, because by the time you get to that level of performing, you have kissed a lot of people in productions. And I know that it sounds hard to believe, because people who have been married for many, many years are like, if I could just kiss one strange person, my life would be complete and I wouldn't have to look at this troll all the time. I'm providing frank language, sorry. But no, there was no, when I asked Deb, Patty's just like, what? And David Hunt, it just is not even something you would think about. So that's why Anna, it was very interesting, because for those of you that don't know this, if you watch Raymond in Vinyl, he has to have a threesome, and I think the girls might be naked, and that would also make people jealous. Okay, so the no roll, someone asked, let me catch up on all these things. And I made you eat the fiber. I've also heard it as, and I made you eat the wood. Interesting, Fly Lady. Let me look at the script. What is the episode? That's a good thing, looking at the script, because for those of you that joining late, I just read the script for No Roll, and it says, kiss your lover like they are going off to war. Yes, Ray could only look, by the way, it is very uncomfortable. And here's a little trivia. Peter Boyle lived above in an apartment at the Hillcrest Apartments in Los Angeles, above the business apartment that Raymond and I were sharing. It was Raymond's apartment, and I was crashing. And Peter, we had a friend joining us for dinner, and Peter, for some reason, started singing, whatever we were talking about, he broke into song. And Peter had a beautiful voice. Patty Heaton had a beautiful voice. I don't know if Doris could sing. Brad can sing really well. But Peter sang to this girl, and just, a couple of bars, but enough where he goes to her. She was an actress. That was great, because it's very uncomfortable to be sung to one-on-one. So when somebody just starts singing to you, it's just like when somebody starts doing an impression. It's a weird thing. Like it's kind of cool, and then you're like, okay, now how do I react? So I guess maybe if Elvis Presley was singing to you, or Frank Sinatra one-on-one, would it be less uncomfortable? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But looking into someone's eyes, first of all, it seems very unnatural, because who stares into somebody's eyes for 3 hours? That's a little bit crazy. All right. The question about snack. So now what's interesting is, for those of you that joined, who have been watching for a long time, someone wrote, is that the canister? Yes, this is the canister from the canister episode. It is such heavy metal. And again, Rhonda would know. Rhonda, the head of props, lent this to me, and I've blocked her calls so she can't get it back. No, I saw her not that long ago, and I would like for her to come on the show. She does not like, and just for those of you who are, a lot of people don't like to be on camera. You think, well, of course they want to tell their story and be famous, as if that would happen here. But so anyway, Yes, this is the canister from the canister episode. I have it, and I try and taste a snack, and we will taste a snack today. Push this mic there. A lot of tight, thick. Now, one of the things I did dig up for you guys. Okay, let me catch up. Let me catch up on anything. When there is kissing in a movie or TV episode, my husband will always say he wonders how the spouse can take it. Be okay with it. Okay, take it. Okay, be okay with it. Yeah. Again, it's very matter of fact. I know it's really hard to believe, but it really is. And what can you say unless you've experienced? Ha ha ha. Okay. Frank Barone's voice. Take a hit, pal. Maybe it's not the camera she has a problem with. Yes. Great. Great, great, great. All right. So I wanted to show you this. Let me see. Here. I'm going to, for those of you that just joined, I saved from the dumpster every single episode of Raymond, the wardrobe Polaroids. Okay. And now this would have been a travesty if this had been thrown in the dumpster, or if these wound up being lost in a fire, which I don't know if you guys have heard, but that does happen occasionally in these parts, okay? And this is going to take me a little bit of muscle power, but here is about, I see a fire helicopter coming. This is about one half of one episode. One half of one episode of one season. Is very heavy. This is very heavy. So I probably have 50 of those. 50 of those in my basement. That if the fire. So I don't know if you guys can hear that noise. Let me put this one mic towards the direction. Here we go. Let's see. So that is a California State Fire helicopter flying by. Cal Fire, they call it. Okay. So all of those, and one of the good reasons for one of the positive things about not just sharing this with you is when I hold these things up, they are digitized. I know that sounds, what does that mean, Tom? Well, there is at least a record. So I'm trying to get through as many episodes as possible. Okay. So this episode is The Letter. The Letter. The Letter was, and again, I will try and coordinate the episode. I think when we do the podcast and go through every episode by episode, I will coordinate the wardrobe with the episode. But in this case, randomly pulled The Letter. The Letter was, I remember, season 2. And when I was thinking about this today, for those of you that watch the episodes, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that episode. For me, I remember where we were, what production office, where we were in the cycle of show. That was season 2. We were in mobile offices at Warner Brothers. We had just moved to Warner Brothers. But that was the first episode, The Letter, that you felt the audience cheer in such a way after that scene where Frank is reading the letter. And it really felt like, oh, wow, this is not only good, like this is a great episode. So here we go. And by the way, I've shared this before. If you could have the wardrobe Polaroids of I Love Lucy or the Honeymooners, again, Ralph's wardrobe would always look the same, but that would be so priceless to have for fans of the show. Okay, so one of the things that we did in real life is we had a Tupperware party so that we could get into the head of what it would be like for the letter. And the letter kind of morphed in the writing process. And I remember Phil going, okay, this is now called The Letter because it was going to, I think, be called the Tupperware Party. And so here we go. Let's see what we have inside the wardrobe episode for The Letter. There you go. Those are the wardrobe notes. Okay. Those are right side up. And that's every character, every scene, and every wardrobe change. Very copious notes about it. So, again, it always leads with Ray, and these are Polaroids, and I race through these. So don't panic if you're listening. I go pretty quickly, and then I take the pictures and post them. And again, I've had to put my watermark because a lot of these other sites take my photos, post them, get rid of my caption, write it as there are a lot of nefarious people out there that you would not think. Okay, Raymond with a little bit of reflection. There we go. That is as Raymond attire as can be. That is Raymond, and Phil is standing next to him. Okay, and I can see a camera behind him, and it's weird because it looks like what's known as a PED camera. Okay, so let me move this microphone so I don't clock it, as they say. Slang. That is slang. Here we go. You know, Ray's wardrobe, when I say here we go, it's just not that exciting. I got to be honest, guys. But they're over the shoulder of Doris. Okay, trying to get rid of... There we go. It's actually one of the nicer shirts that Raymond is wearing. But Patty and Doris enjoy seeing the wardrobe. Okay. There is... And again, sorry, this is... okay, there. Yes. There is Patty, I guess, the letter episode. Yes. And again, the wardrobe people have a Polaroid. They're not, they're usually taking these photos in between notes. So their note sessions live in front of the audience. So the actor very often is not even paying attention. That is a very, Patty is in the middle of something. Her face reads. There we go. Season 2, Patty in her pajamas. And again, there's always notes about where their wardrobe is thrown. And again, for those of you that are just joining, this is for continuity. So if we go, hey, we have to go back and shoot that scene again. Where was her robe thrown? And if the wardrobe people are like, somewhere over there, you, as the home viewer in 2000 and whatever, will watch it and go, hey, did you notice her robe jumped to a different location between takes? And some of you have noticed that with food. Patty, of course, has to show her necklaces, her jewelry, and that will be written in the notes. And Ann Taylor, pea green, cabled chenille. There you go. Wow, for you wardrobe people, this must be heaven to read that. Okay. So that was, yes, her, yes, oh yes. Doris Roberts, of course, perhaps the best dressed on the entire series. And again, Doris looks like she might be listening to the director maybe there. Okay, and don't worry, don't fret, everybody. I will post these. And of course, Doris also. Doris, may we take a picture of your earrings, please? And that is what Doris is... doing. Okay. And another perfect Doris thing. Doris pose. And again, there's been comments about the white makeup on her and why it shows up a little bit too white in these photos and indeed on film. And here we go again. Her wardrobe. Very matter of fact, and a lot of details about everything. Okay, hold on. Everybody, Tom Caltabiano here showing the very rare Polaroids of wardrobe that everybody has. Brad Garrett, Peter Boyle. There you go. Peter Boyle at the Frank and Marie kitchen table, which is now at Phil Rosenthal's house. Here we go. There we go. Them and okay, Brad looking very thin, coming off of. If you read his book, When the Balls Drop, he stopped drinking and very much is very candid about it, and he lost a tremendous amount of weight, and that is how Brad looked then. And let's see, I think we had a couple of other people in there. Maggie Wheeler, everybody, Maggie Wheeler, never before seen photos. I have to send that to Maggie. And Monica, Amy, was Amy there? Yes, Amy was in that episode. And again, here we go. Andy Kindler, a fan favorite. And that is Helen. I guess, was she the Tupperware lady? I have not seen that episode in a long time. Okay, and Johnny Manfrolotti, and I think you see Andy Kindler there back there. I'm going to have to send that to John. Okay, and wrapping it up, I'm sure we had a lot of extras. And of course, was Madeline Sweeten in the episode? She must have been. Okay. And that was just a friend of theirs. It's funny for me because if you haven't seen the episode in a while, I don't know if I've seen that episode since 1997. And there you go, the twins. And I'm assuming Madeline. Oh, yeah, there is Madeline. Okay. Okay, so there you go. The inside of the wardrobe episode of the Tupperware episode called The Letter. And then you saw the magnificent amount that there is. Okay, wow, that's a long time for me not to see comments. Tom Caltabiano here. Let me catch up. Let me scroll down on Instagram. Is an reboot of Eros Raymond possible with a different cast? Could the proposal to have been broadcast live on YouTube? Could the proposal to have been? I guess you're saying, could you make that pitch, as we call it, to have the show be on YouTube? So live on YouTube would be very tough. Sorry, let me go back. Doing a live show is very, very hard. To do a live show that's going to be broadcast, as I just was mentioning, in the editing process, the show is so well crafted in editing and fine-tuned and made perfectly that you don't want to do a live show ever, because it's not as entertaining. The novelty wears off once you go, oh, that felt sloppy and slow and long and all of that stuff. To do another show, and I get it. If you love Seinfeld, you're like, please, please, please come back for a few other. I'm turning on another device. Please come back and just do a few more episodes. We love the show so much. But, all the players have to want to do it. And I just heard that, did the Frasier reboot not get picked up and they're still trying to do it somewhere else? Maybe. So it's very hard. So it's not as much as you love the show. And it's like, well, everybody said yes. The network has to say yes. And we're still trying to just get a reunion show with clips, one-time episode to air. Okay. Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm screaming. Okay. Very good, everybody. Yes. How about just a Super Bowl commercial, which they did on Seinfeld? And Seinfeld, wasn't that Jason Alexander and Jerry? And it was delightful, right? Just watching that scene in a diner, you're like, oh, please do some more. And I totally get it. Did Deborah and Marie wear the same clothes much at all in different episodes? I never really noticed them doing that. Yes, they actually did. I mean, they are supposed to be realistic. Marie was really well appointed, as they say. So my favorite pajamas, yes, Annabelle. Let me see if I can post the name of those pajamas. Not that, that's the interesting thing that I've learned. Men's clothing doesn't change so much, and women's clothing changes tremendously over the years. So it was, sorry, so it's not going to be like, oh, the timeless XYZ, fill in your label, pajamas that are always available. Okay, so let me see. This, did your wardrobe ever appear in any Polaroids? Did my wardrobe? Yeah, I think I had. Yes, my wardrobe would be in Nemo's, Captain Nemo, and Recovering Pessimist when I had a line. So that's it. Do writers discuss where the button in the scene should happen? Bob, very inside baseball. what he is referring to is there's usually an end of a scene, maybe of a joke, if that's what you're talking about, at the end, because we need a button here, is what we would say. You end the scene and you guys can watch it where you go, oh, here's the funny scene. It's ended. Is there a funny line we can end it on? And that's where a lot of times live, when it didn't get a big laugh, the end button to the scene, Raymond would come up with something and get a little bit of a laugh. All right, time to draw. Let me. Wow. Hi, everybody. Um, that was a weird thing. I don't know how that went away. Never happened before. You learn something every day here on Stream. Okay, before we wrap it up, quickly, the canister episode. And if I missed one of your questions, I'll go back and do it. The canister episode. Let's see what I have in here, everybody. Okay, inside is penguins, which I think this is unopened, but I feel like okay, here we go. The penguins. So we tasted a different variation. Let me really give this a little, and again, I'm going to start rating them. I have to get all the graphics together so I can post the ratings of this. This was did we have a dark chocolate mint or something? So here we go. The individually wrapped. This is the canister. There you go. It's called ASMR. Okay, the penguin. Let's taste a little thing. For those of you that go, why is Tom, a writer who I don't even know, why is he even trying something in the Raymond Writers Room? Anything to avoid writing. And Jeremy Stevens had a very adamant stance that Hydrox were better than Oreos, and so we started tasting cookies, etc., and snacking like mad. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to open. So a delicious looking chocolate, regular chocolate. Sorry, try and get this. Looks like I'm under the witness protection, and they're trying to protect my identity. There we go. Okay, so when we did the mint ones, people asked, why isn't it shaped like a penguin? And I think it's more the chocolate. Okay, sorry. I know this is kind of, here we go. This is like combing your hair backwards in a mirror, if you guys know. Okay, so it looks like regular milk chocolate. Let's see. Oh. I was expecting gooey. So it's crunchy, crisp. Have you guys seen the penguins in the... I know this is a UK thing. I can't read the label. Where did I put it? Are my American friends who are not watching football, do you know the penguin? I never heard of it until I went to a place that had it. All right. Hold on. Uh-oh. The wrapper is not as delicious as you would expect. So, very tasty. Chocolate, but not too sweet. That's one of the things I like about the UK. Now, I forget, you guys call it a biscuit or you call it a chocolate? Okay. Boy, I have to say, that is delicious. That is really delicious. All right, we're going to start ranking them as soon as I get that. I got to figure out what I would rank my favorite one. People have asked. I really love Jammy Dodgers. They're really good. And as I've said in the past, the beauty of the British biscuits versus American cookies, and I know that the Tim Tam is in there, so don't get all upset that I'm not mentioning them, because I think the Tim Tam mint is going to be way up there. They're not as sweet. The British biscuits that we call cookies are not as sweet as American treats, and so they are really, really appreciated. All right, final notes as we go on here. Let me see. Did all the show's clothing belong to ELR? What happened to all of it? It seemed like the character Ray would dress like Ray Romano would. Did he ever wear his own clothes? Okay. Sandy. Sorry, Sandy, where are you? Are you in New Jersey? You said hi. And I forget. That is an excellent question that I think we should delve into more in the next episode. But yes, we owned, for the most part, all of the clothes. When I say we, the wardrobe department had a giant thing of wardrobe, so you could go into the wardrobe department, and I've posted photos of that. So yes, Ray just happened to dress like Ray. Ray Romano dressed very much like Ray Barone, and vice versa. The Patty dressed, I would say, differently. Doris Roberts dressed pretty closely. Brad Garrett had a really impeccable taste in real life, so I think he was different. And Peter, a lot of it's casual. You're living your life like on the show through all different things. So coming to the show was different versus going out to a special event. Deborah's brajol recipe. Yes, we will. Bracciole. That we will. Let me see. Yes, Ryan, will Sensuopoly be available in the ELR 360 shop? Yeah, that could be good. By the way, some people that are mentioning about having the canister available. I'm looking at the canister. Oh, by the way, here you go, folks. I found one of my old cameras that I took. It has dust on it from episode from the 9th season. This is a Nikon F5, which is a film camera, and that little special back would stamp the date on the photo. So when you see some of the dates on the photos, that's where it's from. I will have to clean that off, take some photos, etc. So people have asked about the canister. When we sell the Christmas ornaments, that's it's easy to sell. The only thing we've had custom made was the Big Fork and Spoon, which, as you can imagine, the Big Fork and Spoon is a custom thing that we had to get Tucker Cawley, who wrote the episode, to send a picture of the actual wallpaper and the spoon. Then we had to go to a manufacturer, get it manufactured. A lot of steps, all by us. So that's why this is kind of, for what it cost, it's not expensive, but for comparing it against something that's mass produced, like a Christmas ornament in the shape of a sled, etc. So to make the canister, which I agree, it'd be awesome to be able to buy the canister. We have to figure out, what do we do? Do we make it into a refrigerator magnet? Do we make it into what do we do exactly? So that is the question, everybody who wants the canister. Because can we make it? Can we make this? Yes, we can probably go and get a company to make this, and it would be $350 for each custom-made thing. And so we have to figure out who can make this. Do we make it as a refrigerator magnet? Do we make it as a thing to hold your pencils on your desk, etc.? So we have to continue to do the all kinds of noting, etc. Let's see. Yes, okay. Cooking show, yes. Ellen, okay, Ellen, this is good. You love Deborah's wardrobe, right? Brucey Jones, can I give out the chocolate recipe cake? I'm going to try and find it. I think we found out the bakery that baked it. They called it Rhonda's Cake because Rhonda was the head of wardrobe. That bakery is closed, but I think I tracked down one of the person one of the people that worked at the bakery, the recipe. So I got to see. She is not working in the bakery business now. So I'm gonna have to reach out, and hopefully she's very intrigued. Okay. For those of you that just joined late, let's summarize. We talked about no roll. Ray's wife was jealous of Ray staring into Patty's eyes. Not the kissing, not the frolicking, not the rolling around, etc. No roll got the name from a dice game that we would play in the writer's room. Somewhere I have a photo of Ray mid-cheer, not like, ha-ha, Ray's here, but almost, at one of the roles with some of the writer assistants, some of the other production people. And then we had to change a line that is now Everest because the show was filmed August 22nd, 2001. 9/11 happened, and the network said, hey, can we change it from war to something else, and change it to Everest. So there you go. All right, everybody, thank you so much for all of your comments. We will see you next week. Tom Caltabiano here. The fires have subsided. We have a windy day tomorrow, so keep your fingers crossed. We have a warning, etc., about high winds. Enjoy your week. Again, if you don't, I try and read every single comment, and if people bring a comment to my attention that they haven't, don't forget to write your comment again. Don't feel like you're annoying me. Thank you for all those inquiries, and thank you for spread the word, because we're the only Everett Raymond site that seems to not be posting terrible posts about other things that are unrelated to the show. So we really, really, really appreciate all of your comments and all of you guys being great fans. And thank you for all the well wishes for all of the residents of Los Angeles as the fires have subsided but still go on. Okay, see you guys all next week.